This video I want to say, mention the difference between myself, Jet Li, Bruce Lee, Tony Jaa, even Jackie Chan. So these are famous individuals that practice martial arts and express martial arts on film. One of the major differences is that I promote the use of firearms, and I view firearms as a part of the martial arts, a significant part of the martial arts for modern day. And these individuals don't really do that. None of the movies that Bruce made showed him using firearms. None of his books talked about the firearms or even showed him using firearms. There's no pictures with him with firearms. So far, there's no movies with Tony Jaa that have him using firearms. There's no movies really of Jet Li promoting the use of firearms. Jackie Chan, there's really very few movies with him using firearms. There is one movie called A New Police Story where he's using a firearm in that movie. But generally speaking, all these martial art actors and martial artists, they don't really add the firearms into their curriculum. But I would say that I'm very different in that regard, because I see the lethalness of these firearms and the practicality and basically how the society is, greatly impacted by these firearms. And I see that real martial artists, in order to truly be proficient in self-defense, firearms training is a necessity, as long as it is allowed by law. But if it is banned by law, say, in other countries, other states, say in Japan or China, or Africa or wherever, where they don't allow the use of firearms, then martial arts would basically be the deadliest force that you could develop yourself to become without the need of using firearms. But maybe other weapons that are available for use. But typically, once firearms are banned, also other weapons are banned as well. And the law has a big deciding factor in what is considered practical and what is not considered practical in modern day. You don't see people in modern day going around carrying bow staffs like what the Shaolin Temple practitioners do or the Shaolin monks do. You don't see people carrying around katanas. These are not allowed by law, and these weapons are not concealable. Modern day is all about concealable weapons, and it's a different time than back in the ancient times of China or Japan, where they're riding on horses and using military, spears and bow and arrows and things like that. This is not that time. This is a different time. The firearm is essentially like the bow and arrow for modern day. And it replaces the samurai sword. And this is the modern day, one of the highest level, pretty much the highest level of expression for the martial arts curriculum. And this is something that I choose to focus my energies in. I'm not an actor like how Bruce was, or Jet Li, or any of these people are. I'm focusing on real life situations. And even Bruce Lee, before he became an actor, he tried to join the military. And they didn't allow him to join because I think they said that, one side of his body was like a half an inch longer than the other side, and then they disqualified him. They said that he wasn't physically fit. His body wasn't symmetric enough or something of that nature, and they disqualified him from the military. And as an end result, he ended up getting into acting. But he was, the fact of him applying to be a part of the military already shows his mentality is focused on the realistic combat. It's not focused on combat sport or even entertainment. Even in his movies, it's all focused around like realistic ways of combative situations. He's focused around realism, practicality, simplicity. But as far as myself, I'm even focused on practicality and simplicity and realistic combat to even greater extent, because that's something that I see that the real martial arts is about. Because if you start training for entertainment purposes, no matter if you're an actor or you're a sport fighter or whatever the case may be, you're no longer really in my eyes, a martial artist. You're more of an entertainer, more of like a stuntman, or just an actor, or a gymnast, or somebody that practices acrobats, or somebody that does breakdancing, or somebody does things to make other people entertained. But to me, real martial arts and real self-defense is not about entertainment. It's about high efficiency, and it's about what works, and what's really going to protect you during a life-threatening situation. And I see that the people in the military, the people that are in law enforcement, and even the people that are illegally in possession of firearms, and the people that are legally in possession of firearms, they practice the real martial arts. It's not the people that you find at the average dojo that have all these belts and uniforms and stupid competitions and point sparring and boxing and kickboxing and cage fighting. That's not real combat to me. Real combat to me is what you see in the streets, and it's a life and death situation that you need to survive. And anything could happen, and it's a serious situation. And that's what I plan, that's what I train to survive, that's what interests me the most, and that's what I like to teach. And that's one of the main differences that set me apart than the average martial arts actor or martial arts sport fighter.